Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Cities Skylines Campus. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day, a fantastic day, whatever. I hope you're having a good one. I certainly hope you're having a better one than some of the people in my industrial zone have been having. Their building just got done being on fire, which is probably not great. I've never been in a burning building. I would kind of like to continue to never be in burning buildings. Speaking of burning buildings, those are quite similar to train wrecks. And speaking of train wrecks, that's kind of what this video intro has been thus far. So let's just jump into it and talk about what I've done between episodes. So I mentioned that I wanted to build up this industrial area a little bit, make it look detailed, make it look grimy, put, you know, trucks in here and containers and all that good stuff. So I went to the Steam Workshop and I basically subscribed to a bunch of different assets that let me do that. A bunch of different dirts, a bunch of different sort of tire marks and wear and tear, and some patches for the roads down here that you can see as well. And I've basically put all of this together to make what I think is a decent looking industrial area. It's maybe a little bit more grimy than it should be. A lot of it doesn't necessarily make sense. Like, why would these containers be here? Why are these trucks parked there? A lot of it is just filler to try and make it look busy. Same with like these boxes and again, these containers, everything just kind of, I'll be honest, I threw it together, but I kind of wanted that to be the look. I kind of wanted it to look a little bit thrown together, like it's kind of, you know, there's big empty space that some company said, hey, if that's not being used, we're going to park our trucks there. So that's kind of what it is. I managed to get a little fire station in over here, sort of like a little truck stop looking thing there. This area back here needs some detail. I'm probably going to put some boxes in there at some point. But generally, the whole area is just covered in grime, covered in dirt. There's a few areas that are a little bit too clean. Again, like this area here, these areas back here, and so on and so on. But I think it does the job. I think it's fine. And I want to continue building this area up in the near future. I've also done a little bit of work over by City Hall. I turned the comments on for the previous video. Actually, no problems in there. Well, I'll be honest, there were like one or two people that were like, hey, I see you've turned the comments on in this video. Allow me to talk to you about your prison architect let's play. So those people have been banned from ever talking in the channel again. But by and large, the comments were fine, so they might be on for this video as well. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm dipping my toes in the water to see if YouTube comments are something that I'm really interested in turning back on. I have a variety of reasons for keeping them off. I'm probably going to do a dedicated video talking about them in the near future because I don't want to do it in this one, but there's a reason. Anyway, someone did suggest that we use this right here, this type of grass, and I don't remember the exact name of it, but it is a decal. It is this one right here, the manicured grass. I don't remember the name of the person that suggested this, but thank you so much. It looks absolutely fantastic in and around the City Hall. I think the idea from the comment was that I do it out in all of this area, but it's kind of difficult to do that. If I was to use the prop line tool, I'd curve it and then, you know, bring them all, well, not like that, but I could curve it sort of like that. I could move them together a little bit and it sort of doesn't work on a curve. It kind of has to be done in a big square area. So I've kind of done that in all of these areas. And I also did it not in front of the campus, actually. I did it over here as well in a few of the areas around the stadium, which a bunch of people have suggested I start doing more sport like holes around, like basketball courts or tennis courts or stuff like that. A few people mentioned doing a retail park as well, which honestly would look brilliant in this area, I think. Especially since this area is kind of just going to be big empty space anyway. So a retail park in there might not be a bad idea. I might go download the assets for that as well. But that's essentially all I've done between episodes. I also did this, actually. I did this in a live stream. I did all of this, barring the grass, on a live stream, actually. So if you're ever curious about seeing the Cities streams, go to twitch.tv/conflictnerd. It will always be linked in the description. Hit the follow button. It will let you know when I go live. And yeah, just go do that. Also, while you're at it, twitter.com/conflictnerd as well. Again, linked in the description for regular daily updates and what I'm doing and videos and all that stuff. This area here, I just updated a little bit to make it a little bit cleaner. I decided to just line it in bushes the way I've done for a lot of spaces, and I put in some parking lots. And the parking lots, honestly, are there because there's a hospital on this road, and I figured it kind of made sense that you'd want some parking nearby. It's a little bit weird that the parking isn't directly attached to the hospital, but I figured it would be all right to have it sort of across the road, and I think it looks the part. And I don't think I want to go too crazy with filling in these areas with too many details. So this area is probably done. It's not amazing, it's not fantastic, but I think it's probably done. I've also been doing a lot of thinking about this area over here, specifically Barlow oil products, and also this industrial area here, because I've been thinking about getting into building our second campus. And I was thinking that it might look really interesting to have just a plain old university on the water. Because I'm thinking that the liberal arts college is probably gonna be like out here, sort of surrounded by suburbs. So I don't really think it would look too great in the, I mean, it would look great on the water, but it's not gonna be on the water. It's gonna be out here surrounded by suburbs. So that might be a thing that we do. We might go in, we might decide to take out all of this industry and put a university out there and make it huge, which I think would be really interesting. So just keep an eye out for that. That might be a thing that we have to do. In the meantime, though, I actually want to start bringing some roads off of here and start filling up all of this space. And that's kind of going to be the focus of today a little bit. We don't have a lot of zoning, so this is just going to be building out the area, filling out, you know, districts, main roads, services and stuff like that. The demand issue, I have a really sinking feeling is caused by Demand Master, which I really cannot stress enough. I have not used in this series at any point. You know what? While I'm talking about this, let's actually start working because this train track needs to come out. I haven't used Demand Master in this series, and I have no intention on using Demand Master in this series. I do not want to. If you've followed the channel for a while, you will be more than aware that we have used Demand Master in the past, and it has absolutely messed up some of my saves, and I'm not very happy about that. That is just the nature of using mods. That is just the nature of this kind of thing. It can happen. You know, I'm not annoyed at the mod, none of that kind of stuff. It's just the nature of it, right? But the problem is I've had it enabled for a little while because I've been working on a new Let's build, which I mentioned earlier about Twitch. I've been building the new tiered city live on Twitch recently. And if you've been watching that, you'll know that I've been using Demand Master because it helps, you know, with the demand for everything. So I'm a little concerned that, you know, maybe having it enabled is causing some problems. And if that's the case, I'm gonna have to figure it out because I really don't want to use it. I just don't. I don't want this to become just purely a creative let's play. That's not my plan. That's not my goal. That is not a thing that I want. So hopefully I can figure it out. And I'm pretty confident I can, to be honest. I'm pretty confident we'll be okay. So we're not going to stress too much about it. I do just ever so slightly want to grab this node though and raise this bridge. Actually, you know what? Let's not raise the bridge. Let's lower the train tracks a little bit, just so they kind of dip underneath that road ever so slightly, because I think that's probably going to be a little bit easier than raising that road and keeping it looking nice. So there we go. So the train tracks are going to dip under there. They're going to come back around. They're going to go up, and I'm going to keep them elevated because what I want to do is essentially, let's just keep them elevated, essentially have them run along here, and I'm going to start lowering them as they come around there. So let's say we have the train tracks run from that spot up to about that spot. We'll go into curved, we'll do straight slope, and basically it goes nice straight line to, ooh, this might not actually let me do this. This needs to go right about there. So 26 units. And basically a nice straight elevated slope like that. And that looks fine. Yeah, it cuts out some buildings, but I'm not too worried about it. So we'll let the trains kind of get back up on there, and that's going to let me bring some roads underneath that and not have all of my traffic stop because of trains, which is fantastic. So let's go ahead and get a nice big road in here, and Honestly, I'm thinking it's going to be this one right about here. It's going to be, let's see, right about here, I think. And it's going to have trees on it. And it is just going to cut straight through to the other side there. And it also has a straight slope, which actually wasn't intentional, but I'll make it work. That's fine. So that's going to cut straight through. And I think that kind of makes up, I want to say that makes up a district, but I'm almost tempted to cut it in half and say that that's going to be 2 districts. Because I feel like that might be a better idea. And I think I'm also going to keep the straight slopes for that as well. I'm going to smooth a lot of this out, I think, which I didn't really plan on doing, but that's kind of going to be a thing that we're doing. Going to smooth a lot of this out, just go for some nice straight slopes, and hope for the best. Also taking all the trees off the road. I keep forgetting to disable prop and tree anarchy. It's kind of a problem. But we'll take all those trees out, and I think that's going to be fine as 2 sort of separate districts. I imagine traffic's going to be a little bit busy on them, but on those roads, that is. But that should be all right. In terms of getting another couple of districts in here, that's the tricky part, because this was always going to be a part of the city. This was always going to be like a dense area, but it's got a lot of size to it. So maybe we do another road that comes off of here, and maybe it goes to there, and that should be fine. And I could take it straight across and have that be a district, but that seems like it would be a lot. That seems like it would be a bit unnecessary. So let's do 10 and 10 and across, and let's have it go straight like this. And that way, although that might need to be ever so slightly redone because the slope is a little bit weird. But this way, we have sort of, you know, a nice big chunk there, and we can build some stuff off that, and that should be fine. I think I can make that work. I do just want to get a nice curve going on the corner, though, as I do. You know, it's kind of my thing. I don't remember. Real cities have curves. That was the thing. That was the thing we... That's on a t-shirt, by the way. I'm not... Man, I have so many t-shirt design ideas, but I'm not much of an artist. That one... If I remember, I'll put it like on the screen. I don't. This is a thinly veiled plug for my store. I'll not lie. But on the serious note, I have so many ideas for shirts. I've had this idea for a shirt for a really long time, which is like, it would be like me standing over like a table that has a blueprint on it. And it's a blueprint for a city, and rising like up out of the blueprint would be buildings. And I feel like that would almost work better as a poster, to be honest. But I remember I described this to an artist years ago, and they're like, to be fair, it was an artist I found on Fiverr. So, you know, take that as you may. To be fair to Fiverr, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. But it was an artist I'd find on Fiverr, and I was like, hey, would you be able to design this? And they're like, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like, I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, you're going to need a different artist for that. That's like way more than I'm able to do, / willing to do. And I was a little disappointed. I was like, okay, you know, I get it. You know, you're on Fiverr. You're not here to like, you know, do whatever I'm looking you to do, but it would have been nice. And then I also would have probably had to pay for like the commercial license anyway. So it's probably for the best that I didn't go with the Fiverr artist. Because I've heard some horror stories from Fiverr, from people who are like, yeah, I got an artist in Fiverr to design my channel banner, and then they like copyright claimed it or something like that. And I'm like, how does that happen? And they're like, well, yeah, technically I didn't buy the commercial license. And I'm like, you idiot. Yeah, there's, I mean, that's, to be fair, that's not the fault of the artist, but it would also be really awkward to start, you know, putting that, you know, your logo out there and being like, yeah, this is my logo, and then it gets copyright claimed. That'd be awkward. Fortunately, I don't need to really worry about that these days. My channel icon is my face, which thus far, as I'm aware, hasn't been copyright claimed. Hopefully won't be. That'd be actually, that would be more awkward, wouldn't it? Like, I'm talking about what would be worse is copyright claims against my face. I'm debating whether or not I'd be insulted or not. In a way, yes. In another way, I'd be slightly flattered, I think. Only slightly, though. The flattery would last about 3 seconds before I realize, hold on a minute, someone's just copyright struck my channel because it has my face on it. So, you know, it's, it would be interesting. I also don't know what I'm doing with these city blocks here. Hold on, I'm rambling too much and I'm not focusing on, like, design here. I want these to be done slightly differently, I think. I actually kind of want these to be... I kind of want these to be grids. And I have a reason for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go with one-way roads here. And I'm going to allow parking on them. And this is... They're actually going to run, like, straight through here as well. So we're going to do one way the whole way across. And I'm going to start flipping some of these around to go back and forth. There is going to be a bit of a... There is going to be a bit of an old-time policy in a lot of this as well. I think I might actually do another avenue up between these as well, because I think that could be kind of interesting. And I think I'm going to leave this bit sort of open. So what distance is this road? 50, so 25 is about there. Yep, so that's 25. Just mark that off. Let me do this avenue with trees up through the middle like this. And then bring that avenue straight down like this. And then what I want to do is go in and I want to start inverting some of these roads. So they're all going to sort of go in different directions. And I know this, you know, this isn't the most efficient way to do things, but there's a reason I want to do this. And I think it's going to look kind of neat. Because what I want to do is basically a bunch of low-rise apartments. Because we are getting towards the outside of the city. I don't think everything needs to be super high-rise anymore. So I think that spot there is 25. So if we bring this straight down, we can just do exactly the same thing again. Except the roads on the leftmost side are going to be two-way roads and dead-end roads, because they're going to be going up to the train tracks there. So let's flip you around, and flip you around. And then these guys on the left side, I'm going to use this road here with the median, because I want traffic to be able to have, I want traffic to have to go sort of up the road and then turn to come back down it. So we're going to have this, just like I said, go the whole way along, maybe not that far. We'll just take it one less, I think, so that the train tracks aren't, you know, so that the pillars aren't like on the road or something like that. A lot of this can be smoothed out as well, and I think we could maybe get away with another little cheeky road in here. This one can go a little bit further, and then that'll be fine. So that's pretty, like, there's a lot going on there. I think it's fair to say there's definitely a lot going on there, and you know, it's pretty basic, but that's fine. This area in here, I do want to do something similar with. I think I'll rotate the way the grids go, and then over here I'll probably rotate it again, and then up here I basically gonna try and rotate the grids to be different angles and all that stuff. So let's figure this out. Alrighty, I figure this will work for the time being. It is just not gonna build. That's kind of the downside here. It is not gonna build anytime soon. I am gonna smooth a bunch of this out though, just to make the terrain a little bit nicer to work with in there, since some of the straight slopes did some weird stuff. But that'll build eventually, I hope. I definitely hope that the Demand Master issue isn't actually a Demand Master issue, and it's just that there's been like a death wave and then other things happening, and I kind of just hope that, you know, the game will fix itself. I don't know if I'll get that lucky, but we will find out. Either way, this is the spread of zoning in there. It is largely residential with a lot of commercial on the main roads, which usually I wouldn't do, but I figured why not. Just the one district in there for the time being though, which actually I'm going to fix just real quick, because that district does have a high-rise ban on it, and also has the old-time policy to stop people from driving through areas that they shouldn't be driving through. So all of that is going to be just the one district, and I guess this can be its own district as well. Those 4 sections on the right are actually all their own district, like one district, whereas this is being split in 2 for whatever reason, because I'm a complete mad lad. I suppose. I'm actually noticing there's a couple of things building in there, so I'm really hoping that this issue will just fix itself. I really hope so. The amount of times that I've messed up Cities Skylines series with mods or with corrupt saves or something like that. I mean, I'll tell you what, speaking of corrupt saves, and considering that I'm currently in the middle of building a new tiered city, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've told the story of, like, why I built the first tiered city. I know I've told it on live streams 100 times, and I'm sure I've told it in videos before, but for those of you that maybe don't know, for those that don't know about the tiered city, first off, it's a Let's Build here on the channel. It is one of, it is, I think it's my most watched video. I don't know if it is anymore. I think one of the other two, I did 3 builds that are all kind of really similar, and like 2 of them have over 3 million views and stuff like that. And that came about because at the time I was playing Cities Skylines After Dark and my save file corrupted. And I remember I was like freaking out. It was like 2 a.m. It was the middle of the night, whatever it was. And I was like, oh my God, you know, this series has been doing really well, which it was at the time. And I was freaking out because I figured, like, if I couldn't do this Let's Play, it was going to kill my channel because it was actually kind of popular. And I was freaked out, you know? You get a series that's working for you and then the save file corrupts and you're like, oh no. Oh no, not like this. So anyway, I was freaking out because the save file had corrupted and I didn't know what to do. And then I got thinking about an idea that I'd had for a really long time, which was the tiered city. And I just sat down to build it. I sat down, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. We're going to see what happens. If it works, then great. If it doesn't, then you know what? At least I tried. And good Lord, it worked. It really, really worked. Speaking of the tiered city, actually, speaking of the new one, these buildings right here, the bus department, this right here is something I'm using in it a lot. And I want to show you these because these are a really cool asset. So let's place, you know what? Let's go into a better example for this. Let's say I wanted a hospital in the middle of the city, but I didn't want it to look like a hospital. Boom. That's a hospital. Let's say I wanted a fire department. Or sorry, this is a police department. Let's do a fire department. Fire department right there. And let's say I wanted death care. Boom, death care right there. And it just looks like that. I could fill a city block with services because I have a version of this that will give me buses. I have a version that will give me policing. I have a version that will give me a park area. I could fill a city block with those buildings, and that is a thing that is so useful. You do need to flatten the area. That is the only downside that I can find to it. Otherwise, they look a little bit silly, but that is a thing you can do, and it's really friggin' cool. I really, really dig it. So expect to see me using those at some point. And also, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just using parks here to try and bridge the gap so that this entire area has power. So that was skating. What else have we got? We've got like basketball courts. Sure, let's do a basketball court there. That gave everything power. There we go. So that all has power, which is fantastic. That'll all actually be working, which is exactly what we want. And it is, in fairness, it is actually building. So that's hopefully going to look pretty cool. And I think that'll be a good expansion to the city. I mean, if we zoom out, it's going to start wrapping the city around the water. And that's kind of what I want to be doing with it. Let's see. Let's come down to our ore area for a little bit, because this hasn't really been making as much money as I'd like. So what have we got that we can play with? We have this, the ore industry storage. I don't think we need it. Ore storage, I am pretty sure we have. No, that's sand storage right there. We don't have ore storage. Interesting. Get rid of the sand. Let's throw in some ore storage instead, since that seems like a thing that we're going to be wanting around here. What else have we got? What else can we do? So fiberglass. It will process ore into, I assume, glass. Does it need to be placed inside this area? It does need to be placed inside an industrial area. So if I was to take out this little road, I can go ahead and place one of those. And I'm absolutely thinking I will, because that's going to be another thing that we can export, I would imagine. And that will hopefully boost our money a little bit. What else have we got? We've got this. We have the rotary kiln plant, which is huge. And based on the fact that it's huge, I don't think we have one. But it could fit really nicely in this gap. So I guess that's a thing we could do. I guess off of this road here, I could build an industry road thing. Go to about there with it. Let me just move that power pylon back a little bit. And then, actually, these all need to come out just real quick. So if I just take all of those out, I should be able to go in and build this this kiln though, right? It is going to take away that rock, but that's fine. And I think that looks all right. I actually think that'll look really cool, like coming around this bend and you just get these big, like, this big industrial thing going on. I think that looks kind of neat, so not gonna be too worried about that. Let's just connect you two together as well to make sure that all still has power. And hopefully that can go ahead and start making us money as well and start exporting things. That, I think, is our big problem right now. We're not exporting things. We were relying on exports for a really long time. Oh my god, this is actually building. This is actually building over here. This never happens. I suppose the population climbing as well is going to be really useful. And thinking about it, actually, elementary school capacity is pretty low. So I'm actually going to use these. I'm going to use these buildings here to put in some education into this area. And to do that, I'm going to basically go in and I'm going to D-zone this plot of land here. And I'm thinking that's relatively flat. Yeah, I think I can make this work. So what I can do is, let's do 2 services first. So we'll do healthcare. We'll do fire, and in the middle we'll do, I guess, death care, right? So we'll do those on the edges, and then on the sides, these are a little bit expensive, but that's fine. We'll do elementary school, and that'll, how much does this boost capacity by? Let's see, 300. So there, right there, 1200 capacity, 144. These are pretty overpowered. Just looking at what I can do for capacity. I think I just double placed that as well. University capacity is a problem, actually. I might want to do something about that. I think I'm gonna have to do something about that because we're gonna need to get another campus basically. Now let me see, what size are these? These are 3x3. So I want to go in and I want to put a road there. And I'm going to do another hospital, and I'm going to do another fire station, and I'm going to do a park, actually, is what we'll do in here, just to make it a bit weird. And that is essentially a city block that is entirely made up of buildings. That is not what I wanted to do. That was the wrong button. That's a city block that is made entirely of services, and it just looks like one big building. And I think that's awesome. I think that's absolutely awesome. It also gives us medical helicopters, which is kind of crazy as well. But we have death care, we have fire coverage, we have all that stuff. These buildings are so overpowered. It's nuts. It really is. But I kind of really wanted to demonstrate those. So that's kind of what that is. So there you go. Anyway, let's see. Are you making stuff? You absolutely are. So that makes metals. You're storing ore. That makes glass. If we were to have a look at factories, because these are going to be important, what can we make? So you'll turn metal into steel. All right. You'll turn paper, wood, and plastics into toys. You'll turn plastics, glass, and metal into electronics. You will turn petroleum, plastics, and metal into, I don't know, whatever. That's a car factory. Yeah, whatever. I think we could get away with an industrial steel plant somewhere. I think that'd be neat. That would look awesome down here. Although we do have power down here, which is, maybe. I'll tell you what. So zoned industry ore products. Let me move that storage somewhere else. So zoned industry ore products can now live in this space once I move the police station out of that space. So we'll move those. In fact, let's just just actually move you. So there we go. This can be deleted. That can be deleted. Those can be deleted. All of this can be taken out. And then I think what I can do is go to factories, and this thing can just live right there. And I think that's awesome. I think that looks great right there. Just a big old factory right at the end of the pier. That's going to be making steel products, and I'm so okay with that. So let's see. We could, I think, we could put some warehouses behind it if we really wanted to as well, which I think I might do. But I want to just straighten this road a little bit. I'm also thinking this road should probably be... it could probably have fewer lanes. So let's just turn it into this kind of road here. So the one with like the painted median. And just bring that the whole way down, because we really might as well. You can be sort of repositioned, and then you can go right next to it. And that is essentially just going to be storing, I guess... metals? Yeah, metal can be stored there, and we can also store ore products, I guess, or goods. What about goods? Zoned industry goods. Interesting. Let's just do ore products, I guess. Or no, unique factory products. That's what we want, because then those can be exported. So that'll be fine. That's our giant factory down there. That will do good things, I reckon. So we've got that going for us. That'll hopefully start bringing the money in. That is going to cost 800 per week. That's a fair bit. This costs 320 per week. This is 384 per week. We are down to a measly $17.6 million as well, which is, you know, that's lower than I know it sounds silly, but that is lower than I'm comfortable with. That is lower than we've been in a while. So that's potentially a worry. Is what that is. That is potentially a concern. That is definitely doing me a concern, is what that's doing. Let's go ahead and just bring some roads out here and see if I can fill up some of this space with zoning as well, because I'm realizing these guys don't have power. So let me just see, snap you to that height so it's not being weird. And then this area back here, what can I put in it? What can we put back there? What kind of buildings could we possibly need? I could do a hot air balloon tour. I don't think that's what I want to do. I like that I've got a taxi department in this as well. That's neat. So I can get taxis from this thing too. That's pretty cool. I don't think I can get much else. There's not like a metro station. Actually, one of those buildings as a metro station would be awesome. I'll say that right now. One of those buildings would make for a really cool metro station. Is there anything unique I could put down here? Any of these buildings? I know I've got some... Oh, hold on a minute. The media broadcast building. That could be kind of cool down here. I think there's also... Is there not like... I mean, this is the hypermarket. It's maybe a bit big for the area. There is the shopping center. Bit of a miserable area for that. The Chirpex launch site is a bit big for the area. And then the locomotive halls is kind of a tourism thing. Anything in here? Like the semiconductor plant? It'd be nice if that fit. What is this? The television station. That could be kind of cool. Let's see if I can... Like, what does this look like if placed with anarchy? A little bit close to the thing. I could move it this way a little bit. Does that make it work better? Almost. Definitely a solid almost on that one. I could move the road a little bit. That is an option. We can just move the road over slightly and then move this to be sort of more on the road. There we go. So that I think is probably fine. I do kind of like the idea of bringing a road down here. Like that is... Ooh, that's a bit rough actually. Never mind. Would have looked interesting, but just looks a little bit silly, honestly. So let's just bring this back down to about there. That is definitely not the way I want that to be placed. And then I guess a path or something through here just to fill in the gap or something. So let's see what kind of paths we have. Honestly, kind of thinking that we're just going to go for the rad one. Because the rad path is... I mean, it stands out, doesn't it? Red path is pretty good at standing out. So extend you to about there, and let's just extend, just extend it ever so slightly to the road there, and to about there as well. And I think that looks fine. I think that'll do the job. I do think, though, we're going to have to do a little bit of painting, because I'm just noticing this bit in here is not quite right. So paint that up to there. I don't think you can really notice the weird gaps and stuff, and I think that's all right, honestly. That should have power now, right? No? Really? Okay. Well, gonna need something else. Let's just be cheeky and see how much this costs. This is 720 per week. Never mind. Way too expensive. Taxi depot is 160 per week. Let's place one right there. I placed that one sort of as a spacer, but we'll put one right there, and that should give us power, right? Really? Oh my god. What can I put in there? There's like, I'm trying to save money and I'm just spending way more money. This is like real life. This is just it's so real is what it's gotten. It's like real life. I'm trying to save, but I'm spending money and I can't save. Water department. Reservoir department. I didn't realize I had these as well. That's kind of nuts. This thing, the Robotics Institute. That can go there. And that should give all of that power, right? Yeah, there we go. So that's all got power. So that's all going to be up and running. This is making steel products. Hopefully we can start exporting those in huge numbers. Hopefully we can start getting the population climbing. I mean, this, based on what I'm seeing, the population is certainly climbing. So that's always good. I just kind of needed to climb faster. Okay, so I'm gonna leave all of the industry stuff for the time being, and I want to turn my attention to the, what do you call this? The trade school, because it is currently level 4. And it's been level 4 for a while, because the attractiveness of the campus is absolutely terrible. So what I'm thinking is that in theory, if I just make it nicer, at the end of this academic year, we are going to get it to level 5, which is kind of what we want to do. So I want to figure out how to do that. I want to figure out what we're missing. And I'm thinking, do we have a bookstore? It's been so long since I've looked at this thing. I don't know what we have. So that's the commencement office. That's a library, dormitory, gymnasium, or gymnasium if you prefer. And then this, I guess, is our bookstore, which can be sort of crammed in there. Yeah, that could actually be moved down a little bit. What is this? The IT club. Let's move the bookstore down towards this corner a little bit. So a little bit more like that. It doesn't technically fit, but it fits, right? So that's kind of okay. Although we could move it back here. Let's actually start filling up some of this other space, because it looks a little weird having everything crammed in one corner when we have a lot of space about there. So that's going to be our bookstore. I don't know if that does increase the attractiveness or not, though. I feel like that's not a building that would do that. It may also be the case that we do have one already and I'm just not seeing it. That is certainly possible, although I'm not certain. What else? So this is our laboratories. Do we have these already? I could swear I put all of this stuff in already. I might be imagining it. I really might be, but I thought I already put stuff like the laboratories in here. So the labs, I'm thinking I would love to sort of attach them to the bookstore like that. Like, that's a pretty weird looking building, but I kind of dig that it's all connected, you know what I mean? Just makes it look like one big facility. And that did boost the attractiveness a little bit. So we got that going for us. But I'm noticing, actually, move the bookstore and then put the lab down here. And I'm pretty sure the curvature, yeah, it almost follows that that path there. So the lab's probably better in that spot. So we'll do that. Then the bookstore can just go up here by this other building, whatever it may be. That is another dormitory, so that's fine. Everything's a little bit more spread out, which is kind of a thing I want to keep up with this place. What else have we got? We've got the Auditorium, which is a pretty sizable building. Auditorium, I'm thinking we're going to put a little path in here, and we're going to put it sort of on its own path. So that's going to be right about here. And the auditorium itself can go right about there. And I think that kind of works. It has a nice view out those windows, sun directly shining in and all that. We're up to 1,180 on the campus attractiveness. That needs to be so much higher. Like, really needs to be so much higher. What else have we got that we can use? We have got the outdoor study area, which we have a couple of already, but I guess we get another one. And that's brought us up to 1,205. Can I, like, do policies or academic works or something like that? What if I, like, bring this up to, like, 7 members of staff? Does that make it more attractive? It does not. Is it trees? Is that what it needs? Because if it's trees, I can make that work. Like, if I just do this for a second, that does nothing. So it's not trees, it is actually buildings. It is stuff that they're looking for. Why am I doing this? Why don't I just use the brush? That makes it a little more tricky. That actually makes it a little bit more tricky to to make this campus, you know, at all worth it. 1,000, so I need 600 more attractiveness on this campus. What do I not have? Is it the statues? Is it the fountains? Is it stuff like that? Because we have got academic statue, whatever this is, academic statue 1. So if I was to put academic statue 1 there, and then academic statue 1 there, we already have them though. What did that do? Okay, that gave us like 150. So, okay, so statues, it turns out, were sort of useful. We still need like 450 though. So the fountain, do we have a fountain anywhere? We do, we have a fountain in there already. What about 2 more of them? I'm sure the students would love to see 2 more fountains, right? So something like that, maybe move that just ever so slightly to be a little bit more in line. That, I imagine, will, you know, boost things a little bit, I would hope. Let's have a look. We're up to 1,000. Okay, another 250. I'm gonna do this before the end of the academic year, which is drawing ever closer. This is gonna look terrible though. Like, everything's gonna be so crammed in here. I'm not gonna like it. I can tell you right now I'm not gonna like it. It's gonna look terrible. But if this is what I gotta do, then I guess this is what I gotta do. What else have we got? Library, IT club, commencement office, auditorium. I mean, what do we also get? We get the media lab next. We get the volleyball club, and we get the new statue as well as the School of Engineering. It's not like I can do much with the School of Engineering. It's not like we've got the room for it, but sure. I guess the School of Engineering can go in here too. Let's do another dormitory, I suppose. We can throw that in. I don't know if that will do anything for attractiveness, but sure, why not? And we could probably get away with like another, I don't know, 2 dormitories up here, or 1 dormitory or whatever. We'll do another one up here, actually. So right about there should be fine. And another one right next to it should be totally fine. There we go. Does that do anything for attractiveness? It does. Not a whole lot, but it does. Man, this is difficult. This is harder than it should be. So we have that. What does that do? That does nothing. Okay, the dormitories do like 25 on attractiveness. Oh my god, why is this so difficult? All right, we finally got there. We got exactly what we need to be. This place is a mess. Like, it looks pretty bad, honestly. I'm not really happy with it, but it'll do the job. It's fine. It's gonna get us the level that we need. Cozy Park's on fire. In other news, that's great. And I just realized this area in here still has power problems. I need to go to the workshop at some point and get the rural power lines asset so that I can get power into that space, because that looks a little bit silly. Also, this area is on fire. That's lovely too. I'm so glad that so many things are on fire. I'm also so glad that I was making a little bit of money a minute ago, And all of the things that I've just had to put into the trade school have just tanked our income, which is beautiful. So happy about that. Let me have a look at my expenses. So my expenses are pretty high. There's 30,000 going out in power. There's 31,000 on public transport. There's 35,000 on education. So 30,000 on power. We are generating a lot of electricity. Like a lot. I'm wondering if we were to cut the electricity budget down to 100% again. We are still generating more than enough power. And that just brought our expenses down by only a few thousand, but that's still all right. The education budget can probably be brought down to 100% as well, to see if we can sort of bring that into line with what we're looking at here. In terms of education, that now means that university availability is not great. High schools are rough, elementary schools are rough, but we are now making money again. Like, we're up by 12,000 at the minute, 13,000 at the minute. So that's not bad. I'm feeling like cutting the budgets there was probably a good shot. And honestly, putting in 2 nuclear power plants is probably not my best move in recent times. But we're back up, we're back making money. So hopefully we can continue making money. I'm actually really pleased that this area is actually building at all. And traffic out here seems okay, to be totally honest. I think the only thing I want to do before wrapping up today is figure out a metro line for this area, because it certainly doesn't have one right now, and I certainly don't really know what to do with it. So what I'm thinking is we're going to take a very, very basic approach here. We're going to go every... what is that? So 1, 2, every gap of like 2 between all these, or a full gap of 1, 2, and like there officially, and there as well. I'm gonna leave like not much of a gap between a lot of these stations, and I do this from time to time, and people always say, hey man, you're not leaving enough space between your metro stations. I know, but let's be honest, it looks kind of neat having them kind of close together. So that's kind of why I do it. I just think it looks cool. So I want to put these all like relatively close together. So something like that. And that's essentially going to loop around, is my thinking. We could probably put one there as well. So that's gonna loop around this entire area. That'll be the main form of transportation in this area, or at least the main form of public transportation in this area. And yes, we're doing hard 90-degree angles. I know people hate those. But this will be like the main form of public transportation in this area. I think that'll be all right. That's going to go to there. So that's going to just loop around, but I do want it to connect out to everything else. So have this come off of here and go over like that, right? So what we can do is we can set up a line that just loops around in the one direction there. I'm going to set up a line that loops around in the exact opposite direction, as I usually do. And then I want one line that's going to go from here. So from there, skip a station, there, skip a station, there, skip a station, and go all the friggin' way back to there. So this area is going to have a train that can then go to the stations it skipped, just like that, and go right in there. So that's going to be a decent little connection, I think, to the main station and back out to the new area. It does mean that all these guys are going to have to transfer if they want to go anywhere, which is fine. But I kind of dig that. That's kind of my thing. I know it's not super efficient Like, I know it's really not efficient, but it's always been my thing to force them to transfer at a central point. And I think this is okay. This is kind of living up to that idea. So hopefully that'll do good things. I'm definitely thinking I want to try and put some buses in here. I'm never good with buses, but I'm willing to give it a shot, I guess. Bus lines are like they're my crutch. Are they my crutch? Not a crutch. A crutch wouldn't be the right word, I don't think. Bus lines, I am very bad at, I think is just the diplomatic way to put it. I am terrible at them. I don't know what I'm doing with them. I genuinely don't. So yeah, that sums up my story with bus lines. I don't know what's going on with a lot of these roads. I want this to loop around. Like, that's the thing I want it to do. I want it to kind of loop almost back and forth, which would be a little bit silly. I don't know what the best way to do this would be, because I don't know where, like, are people going to go from here to a bus to go there? Probably not. I guess get on a bus there. You can sort of ride up the main road a little bit. I guess that would kind of work. You could go get in a bus there and sort of ride through there a little bit. Then you could get in a bus, like, you can get in a bus at that station, kind of come around this way, you know, go around that way, come down here a little bit, and I think just something like, what is that? Why would it loop that way? That's odd. That's really odd, actually. I'm not sure why it would do that. Let me look at some of these roads, because some of those connections are very strange. Oh, hold on. Have I done something wrong there? Hold on. So, why do you do that? Do I need to move it? No? What if I move it over there? No, it still wants to loop around. That is so strange. I could put the stop down there, I guess, like, and have the metro station there. Or I could put the stop over here, actually, have it go out onto the avenue, but that is so strange. That is a really weird way of doing things. I want to put a stop down here as well. It doesn't really want to let me do that, does it? That wants to do some really weird loops. That is odd. I really don't get that. I'm going to do that. And I can't do that. But I can put a stop there, so I'm going to. And then this guy's going to get moved up by one, or not, because that's going to be weird as well. Okay, that's really strange. Oh, and then this is weird as well. Oh, that is so strange, the way it does some of these loops. Okay. I'm a bit weirded out by that. Could I, by chance, take a bus out that way as well? That's the thing I feel I want to do. I don't know why it would go in that direction, though. But let's do that kind of thing. Let's have it loop out that way as well. We could have it go up here, which I think would be interesting. And then we could maybe have one go up here, which I think would be interesting. So we're going to kind of have it just loop around a little bit. Might be a bit weird, but it is going to at least take people like in and out of the different areas, which is kind of what I want it doing. Can I do this? No. So that is definitely not going to be an option. No. Okay. So that's fine. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what it does. The buses... Did I not make one of these? That's park. That's death care. Okay. Can I take you out and put a bus thing in there? Because then that should start... I think that should start spawning the buses for this route if they're not already spawned, which they might already be. Yeah, they're probably already spawned. Fair enough. Let me have a look at some of the stops then. So there are people waiting. There's a couple people waiting there as well. A few people waiting there. There's actually people just kind of waiting around at the stops, which is nice. So that seems like it's, oh, there's the buses there. Oh, they came from that direction. Okay. So yeah, people are waiting at some of the stops, which is good. So I imagine that's going to do what I wanted it to do. It looks like the metro stations are really popular as well. So all over, this actually is developing, is working. We're making $35,000 right now, which is incredible. So I think my exports might be working a little bit as well. So I think we've 41,000. Good Lord, we're up to 86,000 people as well. I think it's fair to say we've recovered, to be honest. I think it's fair to say we've recovered. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I don't really know what we did this episode, I'm going to be honest. The university has become prestigious, which is lovely. We can put those new buildings in next time, assuming we can find room for this thing. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. 2 videos in 2 days is a bit rare for this channel these past 4 months, but this is going to become the regular again. And I'm really excited for it. So I don't know how many times I've said it. Thank you so much for watching. It's been my absolute pleasure as always. And as always, oh, not again. Not again. Why? Why? This happened. This takes hours to recover. No. 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 How did this even happen? How did this even happen? Oh no! No, it's spreading to the buildings. No, man. No. Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. Oh, I can't believe it. Okay, well, a lot of that's gonna need replaced. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.